Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics on the Hindu's YouTube channel with me, Ms. Tula Heppar. I'm the political editor of The Hindu here in Delhi. And this is a show where we go behind the headlines of stories making the news in domestic politics. This week's episode will be a little meandering. It's not a very cut and dried sort of a topic. It's a story in the making, but we will kind of take a snapshot of and reflect on the state of the ruling NDA alliance, specifically the situation with the two big NDA allies, the Telugu Desam Party and the Janata Dal United. When the BJP ended up with 240 seats, dependent upon allies, especially the TDP and the JDU, for hitting the halfway mark in parliament, much was said about taking support from parties which headed states where the contentious issue of special status was still alive and what price would be extracted by these two parties from the BJP for its support. While the opposition tried to create confusion over the nature and strength of support, till now, neither of these two allies have stirred or shaken the alliance, but slowly the contours of their relationship with the BJP is coming out in sharp relief. Now let's first look at the situation with the TDP. Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh N. Chandrababu Naidu was in Delhi last week, his first visit after taking over for the fourth time as Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, twice in undivided Andhra Pradesh and the second time after the state was divided or bifurcated between Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Now, in a short interaction with myself and my colleague Shobna Nair, Mr. Naidu, after he had finished his meetings with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and other ministers, declared that he had his priorities clear, and rather than insist on a special category status for Andhra Pradesh, as he had done when he was an NDA ally between 2014 and 18, when he walked out of the alliance on that issue, he said that his requirements this time around went way beyond it. And he said that the state's finances were in deep trouble and that he really required central funds. What he meant at that time became very, very clear. Just 5 days after his visit, a team of BPCL, the Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, met with him, and news that a feasibility report on setting up a big refinery with a cost of about rupees 60,000 crores was going to be initiated. And initiated soon. And he has other asks from the central government. Some say counting up to 1 lakh crore rupees. This could be the completion of the Polavaram project, the building of a new capital of the state in Amravati, a project which had been scrapped by the Jagan Mohan Reddy-led YSRCP government of the past. And the speed of the assurance by the BPCL was noted by the opposition Congress, which said that while the project of oil refinery had been on the agenda of the UPA government as well for Andhra Pradesh after bifurcation, the fact that the NDA government got onto the issue within 6 months showed the level of dependence on allies was finally being acknowledged. Now, Mr. Naidu's aides told The Hindu that the succession within the TDP was clear, with Nara Lokesh, Mr. Naidu's son, already a minister in his father's government, and that it was the central fund support required that was important to the party. Now, Mr. Naidu also ruled out in the Hindu's interaction with him that his party had either asked for the speaker or the deputy speaker's position in the Lok Sabha. The subtext was very, very clear that the state government and its finances were important and not the share in central posts. It will be in Mr. Naidu's interests to maintain a stable government at the center and an amiable ally, well disposed to accede to the state's demands, which seems to be the case at present. Now, the situation with the JDU is, however, a little confusing, with Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's eccentric pronouncements and health challenges setting off social media speculation again on the state of his health, and of course, directly after that, on the state of succession within the JDU. At a recently held executive of the party of the JDU, Mr. Kumar declared that Rajya Sabha MP and former minister in his government in Bihar, Sanjay Jha, would be the national president of the party. Mr. Jha belongs to the Maithil Brahmin community and therefore is not considered to be like a very, very natural successor in terms of the EBC vote bank that continues to support Mr. Nitish Kumar. Mr. Jha, who had been in the BJP very early on in his career before switching to the JDU, is replacing Nitish Kumar as party president, but it is very clear that his relationships in Delhi were in mind before appointing him to this position. Also, former bureaucrat Manish Verma, who formally joined the party and has been made general secretary, also created news that this is one, the second kind of bureaucrat come politician after RCP Singh, who's taking an important position within the JDU hierarchy. RCP Singh, if you remember, was made a minister in the Modi government in its second tenure, but because of his growing proximity to the BJP leadership in Delhi, he was finally removed from that position and he left the party and later joined the BJP. So, Mr. Verma, it is speculated, is also on the succession path in terms of leadership terms. But this is a confusing period for the JDU. Now, also for the JDU, its diminishing electoral strength from finishing third in the 2020 assembly polls in the state is a worry. As far as the central government is concerned, the worries will rise once the assembly polls are around the corner next year, with the JDU raising demands that the armed forces short-term recruitment scheme, the Agnipath, be reviewed clause by clause, and have also asked for the conduct of a caste census across the country, because that directly relates to political issues that are being raised against the NDA in Bihar itself. These are political demands, as I said, and they are much more difficult to resolve than throwing money at a problem, which seems to be the situation with the TDP. So JDU, the relationship with JDU would require a little bit more of a political heavy lifting. The JDU's main vote bank are the EBCs, the extremely backward classes, and Mr. Kumar has till now sat pretty on top of that pile. Now, the JDU is watching very, very anxiously the rival Rashtriya Janata Dal, led by Tejasvi Yadav, had fielded several EBC candidates, and they are planning to do the same in the 2025 assembly elections. Now, case in point would be the Purnia Lok Sabha seat. Instead of conceding Purnia to independent candidate Pappu Yadav, the RJD remains steadfast with the JDU turncoat Bima Bharti. Now, Ms. Bharti had lost the elections in the Lok Sabha, but is now again in the fray from Rupoli Assembly seat as an RJD candidate, where the bypoll is scheduled for July 10th. That bypoll was necessitated by Ms. Bharti's resignation so that she could contest in the Lok Sabha polls. So that bypoll has turned into now a prestige battle between the JDU and the RJD on who holds a greater sway over the EBC vote bank in Bihar, whether Nitish still has that connectivity or has RJD made inroads into that situation. The internal churn within the JDU will affect the steadfastness of its alliance in Delhi. Now, as the BJP goes into assembly polls in Maharashtra, Jharkhand and Haryana, the results of those polls will also affect the political authority that it can assert within the alliance. So it's very clear that the allies are also watching these three assembly polls kind of unfurl, and one needs to watch this space extremely carefully, especially post-October, November, and the careful choreography that is an alliance government's modus vivendi. As of now, Prime Minister Modi has few challenges from within. Mostly it is coming from a very, very assertive opposition without. We will track this story once again after the assembly polls, but for today, this is all I have. Thank you so very much for watching. I shall see you next week.